the Strongyloides temporalis. Strongyloides temporalis. Strongyloides temporalis. So the Strongyloides temporalis is also known as the threadworm. It looks more like a threadworm. It's also called threadworm. Please take note. And transmission is also penetration through intact skin. Let me show us a picture of Strongyloides temporalis. This is Strongyloides temporalis. Can you see, doctor?
Yes.
This refers to the threadworm. Okay? And the mode of penetration is through intact skin. And this also, okay, transmission. Transmission is, let's say, penetration through intact skin. Penetration through intact skin. So they penetrate through intact skin, and upon penetration, they can also, at early stage, they can result into what's it called? Pneumonitis. They can go to the lung and also cause pneumonitis. But at later stage, they end up in the guts, and this can result into different malabsorption, to abdominal symptoms, to diarrhea, to bloody stool, and so on and so forth. Please take note. So the disease at early stage, it causes pneumonitis. Then at later stage, it causes all this malabsorption. Result into malabsorption. It can result into things like ulcer in the stomach, in the gut. It can result into bloody stool. Okay? And diagnosis is through the larva. You can check for the larva in stool. So diagnosis is made by the larva in stool. So you check for the larva in stool, and the treatment is your bendazole. So you want to use things like thibendazole. Please take note, doctors. So that is about this aspect of the worms I'm talking about. The other aspect of the roundworm, the nematodes, that I want to talk about are those that are actually transmitted by or how do we call them? By flies, by insects. Okay? So and the first one we'll talk about here is our Wuchereria bancrofti. Wuchereria bancrofti. Please take note, doctors. These are very important. They are high yield. So we are talking about the Wuchereria bancrofti. The Wuchereria bancrofti is transmitted actually by mosquito. I think the head is mosquitoes. So they are transmitted, or transmission. Transmission is by the mosquito bite. Mosquito bite, the Aedes mosquito to be precise, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the Aedes mosquitoes that actually causes the transmissions of the Wuchereria bancrofti. And this is very common. We all know it in our environment. You have seen people going around with their scrotum in wheelbarrow, pushing it all around. You've seen people with big legs. Somebody, yeah?
Butter. What? For where?
No, we have seen it before, right, doctors?
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen it. It's all around on the streets here in this country. So it's very common. It's very, very common. So you see people with big legs. This is referred to as the elephantiasis. So they cause elephantiasis. Have we seen something like this before, doctors? Have we seen something like this before, doctors?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this refers to as elephantiasis. So what happens is they cause lymphedema. These are lymphedema. And this is as a result of they cause obstructions of the lymph. You understand? So when there's obstruction of the lymph, it results into lymphedema. So this is associated with the main organism that causes it. Actually, it's referred to as the Wuchereria bancrofti. So transmitted by the mosquito, the Aedes mosquito. Okay? So let me write one or two things about that. And hold on. So Wuchereria bancrofti, the disease it causes, it results into what is called the elephantiasis. Take note. And sometimes it can presented with fever, lymphangitis also, things like lymphangitis could also be something that may be presented. And very common is your lymphedema. Lymphedema. So, or lymphoedema. Lymphedema, what happens is due to obstruction of lymph. So there's obstructions of lymph, so it causes edema. Sometimes it can even affect the scrotum. The scrotum will be as big as anything. So that is it. And the diagnosis, how do you make diagnosis? You actually check for the filaria. You take the blood film and you see microfilaria, filariasis in under microscope. So you see diagnosis is made by taking the blood or checking the blood, checking the blood for micro filaria. Please take notes. And the treatment is very easy. So you treat it, it can be two ways. You might want to do surgical reconstruction, and you might want to give, actually both of them you do it. You give your carbamazine and surgical reconstruction. Please let's take note, please. Okay, reconstruction. So this is how you want to treat somebody who is having what's it called, Wuchereria bancrofti. Please, doctor, any question regarding Wuchereria bancrofti? Let me show us the pictures again so we can remember. I think this is very obvious. None of us will forget this because it is very common a lot in our environment here. So this is very common. Okay. Any question regarding that?
No.
All right. In the absence of no question, let's move to the next one we'll discuss about. So the next one we'll discuss about is these pictures. We all know it. Doctors, can you all identify this picture? Very common in our environment here. What's the name of these pictures? What's your diagnosis, your spot diagnosis? Doctors, everybody should type. Everybody should respond. What's your spot diagnosis? Yes, this is your loa. Let's discuss about the loa, also known as the African eye worm. Yes, loa. You're absolutely correct, Dr. Kaka. You're absolutely correct, doctors. Okay, so it refers to as loa. The loa is also known as the African eye worm. Okay, all right. So let's talk about the loa, also known as the African eye worm. Please, doctor, as a rule, don't forget, loa does not actually cause blindness. So if they say the parasite results into blindness, it is not loa. It can irritate, it can cause probably pain on the eye because the worms migrate across the conjunctiva. Are you getting me? The worms crosses across the conjunctiva, so you can see it probably moving, but it does not cause blindness. We'll discuss about the one that causes blindness. The one that results into blindness is your onchocerca volvulus. Okay? Please take note, onchocerca volvulus. We'll discuss about that later. So how is this one transmitted? Or how do someone get what's it called, loa? It's gotten by bite or biting fly. So things like your mango flies and all the rest. Your mango fly, your crispus, it can actually cause it. Are you getting me? So that is where you get loa. And the disease it causes, it causes it refers to as the African high worm. It's just like it crosses across the, what's it called, the conjunctiva. You will see it moving, and it's resulting to what is called the Calabar swelling. It's resulting to what is called Calabar swelling. The Calabar swelling is a clinical manifestation of the lower. I get him. It's more of like a diagnosis, a diagnostic criteria. You see the worm migrating, as you can see from this picture here, doctors. Can you see this picture? Can you see the worm? Can you see the worm moving? This is the worm. This is the worm moving, migrating, gallivanting around the conjunctiva. So it can cause severe irritation. It's not that good. And how do you want to manage this kind of condition? You also use your diet, carbamazine. Don't forget, treatment is diethyl carbamazine. Okay, so that is that about that. The next one that we'll talk about is your onchocerca volvulus. Onchocerca volvulus. The onchocerca volvulus is transmitted through transmission. Transmission is made through black fly. The fly called the black fly is one that causes it. More specifically, the female one, the female black fly. Okay, and they causes blindness. Actually, they cause what is called the river blindness. It goes into river blindness. Okay, so apart from the river blindness, they can cause nodules and can be very painful, can cause different inflammatory changes. Inflammatory changes. Please take note, they can cause inflammatory changes in the eye. And the diagnosis, how do you want to make the diagnosis for this? You want to look for the filaria. You want to check the skin, you want to look for the filaria from probably the blood, I guess. Yeah, or the nodules, sorry, the nodules, yes. They used to have a nodules, yes. Doctor, sometimes the nodules can be on the scalp, on the head. You see a big nodules. What you need, you just compress the nodules and the filaria. You can take this thing and you check for filaria in the nodules. Sometimes the nodules can be on the scalp, it can be anywhere. Mostly on the scalp, you see the nodules for these onchocerca volvulus. And once you see the nodules, it's enough to give you a diagnosis like, oh, this is filaria. So you press the nodules and the filaria and the nodules on the skin. So let's say you do what is called skin clipping. Skin clipping from the nodules. And check for microfilaria. Okay, doctors, please, any question at this point? Any questions? Any questions? Any question, please? If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me. Any question? Yeah. All right. So, but we understand everything about onchocerca volvulus. Please take note. The treatment for onchocerca volvulus is ivermectin. And you can do surgical removal of the nodules because it's associated with nodules. You see it on the skin, on the scalp. So let's say surgical removal of the nodules. So that's what you do. Please take note, okay? So the last one that we'll talk about under the round one in general is our Drankunculus. The Drankunculus, also known as the Drankunculus medinensis. This is gotten from water. This is your picture showing somebody who is. I'm sorry, I don't have a picture for onchocerca volvulus. I will show us later the picture for it. I'll display the picture of onchocerca volvulus, so we'll see. So this is your Drankunculus medinensis, and the other name for Drankunculus medinensis is called what? And doctors?
Guinea worm.
Guinea worm. Yes, it refers to as a guinea worm. Please let's take note. Drankunculus medinensis. So let's talk about the Drankunculus medinensis. Drankunculus medinensis. Also known as what? The guinea worm.
Guinea worm.
Okay. the guinea worm. So sometimes some people call it fiery serpents. I get him. They call it fiery serpent. It's looking like you remember the what's the name of that man? Is it Igenia or the one that used to carry the what's it called, like a wood, and the snake is wrapping around the wood. You remember now, doctors? Is it Igenia? You all remember the history of medicine now. You understand? So
Yeah.
because of the treatment of dracunculus, because we use stick and we gradually wrap the stick around the what's it called, the worm. So it forms like they refer to it like, oh, this refers to as the fiery serpent. I get it. They just call it that also, but mostly popularly known as the guinea worm. Please take note, the guinea worm, also known as the fiery serpent. So how do we get it? This is waterborne. When you drink water containing these infected copepods, you will definitely are prone to have it. You are going to have it. This is common also in Nigeria. So it's gotten by injection of water containing, let's say, infected copepods. So when you have a water containing infected copepods, is obviously you are going to have it. And the diagnosis is very obvious, because you see ulceration at that region of the skin, at the part of the skin. You see it will always form ulceration, and you see the worms coming out most times. So that is enough to diagnose it. And how do you manage it? Let me just write diagnosis. Diagnosis is done by let's say ulceration at the site is caused by the worm. Let's say ulceration um, and worms is enough to give a diagnosis. And the treatment is the very interesting thing, doctor. Most time you ask the patient, they ask the patient to put leg inside water, and the worm assume is in an environment, begin to swim out gradually, and they attach a wood, small stick to it, and they gradually roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. Even after a while, they stop. They continue the next day. Because you have to be very careful. You make sure when you are rolling it, when you are bringing it up, it doesn't break. If it breaks, it can cause anaphylaxis. I get in, doctor. So you don't allow it to break, because it can result into anaphylaxis. So treatment is slow or slowly removal of the worm, let's say with a stick. You wrap it around the worm. That is a very interesting way to treat it. And in some cases also, what they do is you can also give metronidazole. Metronidazole can be given. Metronidazole. Please, at this point, any question, please, doctor? Any question regarding this whole thing we've been explaining? If you have any question, please ask me now. Regarding the roundworms, we are done with the whole major roundworms we need to remember. Apparently, we are done. We've done Drancunculus medinensis, Onchocerca volvulus, Loa, we've done it. Which other things? Strogiloides tecuralis, we've done it. We've done your Nicator americanus, your Ankylostoma brasiliens, Ankylostoma caninum, Strogiloides tecuralis, Wuchereria bancrofti, Ascaris, whipworm, and the pinworm. So we are done, doctors. So any question, please make screenshot if you want to make any question. And doctor?
No, doctor.
No
No.
question. All right, good.